and he's looking at you with those eyes, and you realize that the voice isn't a work. The voice is the voice. So, Salt Lake City, Utah, Monday Nitro. It was labeled post-Monday Nitro, the night of upsets. ... except for Stevie Richards. So it was the night of upsets. That's what made it stand out. And that was a joke between Savage and myself for a little bit. He goes, I can't do his voice, but he's like, brother, night of upsets, you didn't come through. You didn't come through. But he, during the course of, they taught, they wrote on the board, I don't know exactly what time, but they wrote on the board, Savage, Stevie Richards. Now, this is a lesson if you're enhancement talent, which technically I was to Savage, no doubt, as far as that's concerned. Plus, my spot in the flock was to take losses, was to get beat. I understand it. Raven was the guy to be protected. That was my spot. So, and Raven was in the crowd, by the way. So there was still Raven sitting in the crowd, that whole era of Raven signing, not signing, part of the company, not part of the company. So they put my name on the board with Savage. I look at it. It's an instant influx of many different emotions. Now, Randy Savage's intense reputation precedes itself, whether you're in the company or not. But being in the company, going up to Savage for weeks or months at this point, weeks probably, saying hello to him, shaking his hand, and he's not doing the meanie this. He's doing the mega power handshake, and he's looking at you with those eyes, and you realize that the voice isn't a work. The voice is the voice. There's a part of me that's like nervous and a little intimidated while I'm marking out for the cream rises to the day. And he's got the little coffee. I can picture, that thing and everything. And the Hulk Hogan promo leading up to WrestleMania about Elizabeth and the B-roll. And these are all kind of formulating. And as I'm looking at them, it's like your life passing before your eyes in a 10-second span. And for people that aren't experienced or enhancement talents or anybody lower on the card, you have to now do a tap dance of, do I leave them alone? Do I bother them? How many times do I approach them about the match? When do we call it? What do I do? I'm not going to suggest anything. You see, it's so stressful and exciting all at the same time. So I went up to Savage and, first I introduced I always introduce myself even weeks later. And he goes, I remember your name. So went back up to him and I said, hey, Randy, I just looked at the board and I see we're working tonight. It's already an honor and I'm incredibly excited. Whatever you want to do. And he'll be like, okay, and shake my hand. Now it's when do I go back up to him? I'm hovering around him, by the way, in catering. I'm keeping a distance, but I'm within his eyesight. I'm within where he can see I'm there. So if he needs me and he just goes, come here, I'm there. But I'm not too close to him where he's like, come on, man, what are you doing? Because now you might have heat. Dude, the business is a mind F in every way. But in this way, it's really just respect. Trying to not make him mad or whatever. So I think I went up to him again. I think I did something clever. We were in catering. He was drinking. I walked by. I was going to get something to drink. And I said, hey, Randy, I'm going to the cooler to get something. Do you need anything to drink? And he did. So I went up, got the drink, came back, and I go, here's whatever for you. I said, by the way, whenever you want to talk about whatever, he goes, yeah, I'm gonna eat. And then I can't do his voice because even him just kind of being very courteous about it was still I felt like I was being browbeat. I felt like I was having a promo cut on me. But I was like, whenever. I'm just going to be around and I'm not going to be out of, I think I even said, I'm not going to be out of your peripheral vision whenever you're ready. He goes, okay. So we came up, finally, I was in there and the agent came up and we happened to be there. So he gathered us. So I didn't even have to kind of do it again a third time. And I think they even asked me, Like, it was so funny. They tried to set me up. They go, "What do you want to do, Stevie?" And I go, "Dude, I want to be in the ring with Randy Savage. That's it. Everything else after that's a bonus." And he kind of laughed and he looked a little like, if somebody gave me a compliment like that, I would be like, I don't take compliments very well. And I said, "Seriously, Randy, whatever you want to do." I go, "I'm going to bump and sell my ass off for you, whatever you need." And he goes, "Oh, I know you will. I've watched your site." And then to me, I was like, holy shit, he's watched something I've done. You can't help it, dude. These are the moments. Him, Hogan, Flair, personally, whatever it is, with Hogan, Flair, Triple H, Shawn, whatever it is, when you get the opportunity to do that, that's a bucket list item. So I am going to work my ass off. No different than anybody else, by the way. I'm not working extra hard. I know what to do. So Randy calls something as far as, "This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do." Agent obviously says, "You're going over Randy with the elbow. Do you mind putting him over, Stevie?" I go, "Dude, do I mind?" And Randy joked and he goes, "But you didn't answer the question." I was like, "No, of course I don't mind." I was down nervous because he pulled the sunglasses and stuff. I'm like, no, don't get mad at me, please. This was unique too. If you watch it, this was one of the few times that Randy, that I can remember or think about. He was like, "You're going to be out on the apron and I'm going to get you out and you're going to be kind of hanging over the apron. And I want Elizabeth to choke you." So Elizabeth got physically involved, which really never happened. And even said, "Do you mind?" I go, "No, do you guys mind?" Elizabeth, she's like, "No, that's cool with me." And that was it. So we did the deal. And obviously Raven, they had to do some interaction stuff. I don't think I was there when they were trying to figure out when to ram me into the guardrail with Raven there, obviously, to kind of point the finger at Raven. Then he drops the elbow and then he puts the foot on me. I think he even asked me, "I'm going to put my foot on you. Is that okay?" I'm like, "Of course." So it was very much a surreal experience. It was very nerve-wracking. Even up until after the match, I was like, I hope I didn't do anything wrong. I hope he's not mad. I hope I, laid there. I hope I didn't oversell. There's such a thing as overselling and make it look silly too. So there was also a joke for about a month after that when I saw him, where he shook my, because I was thanking him for a month after that. And then week 3, he talked first. I put my hand on, shake his hand. He goes, "I see you survived, brother." And that was the last 2 weeks. And that was it. So I can't say anything. And people can say, "Well, you didn't get anything in. You didn't do anything. It was the night of upsets and you got squashed." There I said I stood out because it was the night of upsets. And I don't care what anybody says. Win, lose, or draw, to be in the ring with a guy like Randy Savage, even at that stage, whatever it is, he's still in incredible shape. He still dropped the eye. Everything was there. And he was easy. He was there, but he was easy. And because of friends like Danny Doring, he's the biggest, clip this. Danny Doring is the biggest Randy Savage fan ever. And every time I see him, I remind him that I wrestled Randy Savage and he did not. And once in a while, I'll send him the link of the match and he will get so angry because that's a bucket list time. So if anybody works Shawn Michaels, you can send me some matches you worked and I'll get mad.
So is it right? Okay. So for people who've not seen this, you get no offense in at all, which when I watched it, I must have seen it at some point and forgot. So I rewatched it this morning, and obviously I'm rooting for you. What are you going to do against Savage? Almost because I'd seen the Mr. Perfect match not too long beforehand as well, and I watched and oh, you didn't do anything. But I understand why you didn't do anything. But I was bummed out on your behalf. But I shouldn't be, because you wrestled Randy Savage, and that's what matters.
It would be great. I mean, it's a predictable finish no matter what. And they didn't really build a night of upsets until probably after the fact. So it's not like, "Oh, we got a night of upsets and then whatever." But at the same time, yeah, you get to get in the ring with Randy Savage. Sure, I would love to wrestle him. I would love to get some kind of comeback because he was a heel at the time. I would love to do something, But who cares? I mean, it's still Randy Savage. How many times have Randy Savage have to be put in a position he wasn't exactly being featured to the point that he deserved? So, nah, man, nobody can ever convince me or try to talk me out of the way I feel about that match.
I'm going to talk about the post match in a minute. Just before we do that, in the back, when you're sort of putting the match out, or basically Savage is telling you what he's going to do, or asking you very graciously, who was the agent then? Was it Jody Hamilton?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. This is well before the Johnny Ace days in WCW, so it's not him. I am not sure at all. Agents were there, but they weren't really. Like Jody Hamilton, I think mostly was. He aged some stuff, but he's mostly there to keep times, I think. And he was in the what they call the war room, was where they did the finish it. I mean, the war room was either a girl position, and sometimes the war room was basically where you got together with the agent and talked everything over. I'm not sure, but it wasn't. It evolved. They called it the war room. Most of the guys called it girl position anyway, because they were from WWE. I don't remember. I wish I remember who the agent was, because there was an agent involved in that.
I'm trying to think Terry Taylor or Paul Orndorff or
it might have been Terry. Man, if it was Paul, I'd be like, man, I want to work Paul next. That would be great. You know, there are plenty of guys. You wouldn't believe the guys that I never got a chance to work with. And that does include Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Batista worked on house shows, but not on TV. Flair, I worked on TV, which was great, but it took forever. I never got to work Terry Taylor. I never got to work, never got to work Jeff Jarrett. And Jeff, like, is working now in AEW. I'm half tempted to want that match against Jeff, you know, or any match against him. There's plenty of guys that I wish, even after 30, 31 years, that I didn't scratch the surface of what I could have done in the business. Contributed is a better word with other talents.
We're going to talk about Raven again in a future episode. Take a drink. I'm even saying it and not even realizing it. But I want to talk about the WCW short tenure with you and Raven as well. Another point. Very briefly, Goldberg defeated Hugh Morris on the same episode, which I figure is going to be actually, in the long term, the most famous match on this show. Having said that, after you're pinned, Raven hops the guardrail and enters the ring and sort of faces off with Savage. And then instead of those two attacking each other, Raven DDT'd you for some reason, I guess, because he just treats you badly, I suppose. I don't know why. He treated everyone bad.
I was welcoming the DDT after, if you watched the match with me and Paige, after I got pinned, Raven gave me the hardest slap you could ever. I mean, I was like, wow, I couldn't even. It was a full-on ear slap and everything. It was bad. But
is that when he's still like behind the guardrail and he sat down, then he stands up and hits you?
No, he came in and faced off with Paige and then turned me and slapped me. So it was basically facing off, but then beating me up. And then the other guy's like, you guys are weird. I'm out of here. And that's what Savage did.